What's up, everybody? Today's the start of day 5. Wanted to recap on day 4 on some of the things that have happened, as well as really going through. I've told you guys quite a bit about the different strategies I've been taking and writing out different business plans and multiple business plans, just because stuff's been changing. But I actually wanted to go through and kind of share the tools and resources with you specifically on what I'm doing. So if you find yourself wanting to start a side business, if you find yourself looking to really revamp your business, this would be for small and medium business owners that really have a hard time getting scalable and repeatable business practices. This is what I'd highly suggest to do. When we were consulting companies, these are practices that we were doing, and they were also practices we were using in our business. What's funny is that as a consulting company before, we even had our own, obviously people know that we have our own problems, but what's great is that as we got more and more clear on exactly, leveraging some of these tools, as we got more and more clear on what we did as a business, we were able to better identify what's really the next steps and how can we provide the most value, because a lot of small businesses or businesses that are similar to ours are struggling in these same areas. And so companies, and I've really felt called to the smaller entrepreneur startup companies, and I think it's because typically when you guys start your own businesses like myself, and what we had done before, is it's almost like you're building the business and the business is thriving off of just pure hard work, dedication, commitment to the craft. And then there comes a time, whether it's 6 months or 5 years down the road, that you hit a point where the business is not growing anymore because you literally cannot put any more time into the business. It's a lot of that blue collar. It's almost like there's not enough hours in the day to continue to grow. And if you find yourself in that position, that's a real good reflection that you need to delegate, scale, and find better business model practices. And so if you find yourself in that position, if you're an owner or an executive or some kind of VP of sales, or even just a manager and running a sales team, if you feel like there's not enough hours in the day, it's typically because you need better tools and resources, and you need to get more clear on exactly what's your time is worth and exactly where you should be spending your time. And so a lot of these tools that I'm going to explain and kind of share with you are things that I found to be really effective in our small businesses. Going back over the last couple of years, there's probably, there was some that I was more involved in than not, but there was probably 4 or 5 startups that I was a part of over the last few years. I'd probably say 3 that I was more specifically actually helped building, and a couple that I was able to just really view closely and be, a sounding board for every once in a while. But I could see how these practices and leveraging them have really helped that business grow. And we did that way later in the stage than we should have. We should have started out with a practice like this, but we just didn't know. So that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, to where if you are kind of stuck and plateaued as a business owner because there's not enough hours in the day, or your people don't understand and they're not catching the vision, this is for you. And then if you're looking to start like a side business, if you're someone that's already doing the 9 to 5, or you already have a job or whatever, and you're just like, man, I have a vision, or I have an idea of what I want to do, then this is also for you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to connect. I'd love to share more practices, or maybe go more in depth on what I found, just because it can be hard to read through all these resources. So one of the biggest ones is this business model generation. So this is a book. It's written by Alexander Osterwilder and Yves Pigneur. Probably really screwed those up. And then there's a bunch of other co-authors and stuff. But it's really just a handbook for creating a new business. And it's a little bit overwhelming, and so you'll definitely need some other tools and resources to make it simple, but there's stuff online all over the place if you just do enough research. And I'd be happy to kind of share those specific practices and where I found a lot of help with those. The other one is strategizer.com, and it is STRATEGYZER. They have a ridiculous amount of help to get your business clear and on the right path. And so this is what we would help companies do, is we'd basically take them through these different business models and help get more clear with them. it can be so helpful to have an outside source to be able to bounce ideas off of, and that's what I'm really grateful for over the last couple of days, is to be able to talk to my network and people that have reached out. So I really appreciate those of you that we have talked and had conversations, and I've shared some of my business ideas with and these different models and helped craft it with me. So as if you're going through any of these tools or models or whatever, find someone that can be a sounding board, write out what you're thinking. What's great is what they've kind of trained on is that it's a hypothesis. When you write out these business models, they're a hypothesis, and you essentially go through your value proposition. Who are your customers? Like, what are the customer segments? The channels. So how are you delivering to your customers? Customer relationships. So how do those get built and maintained? Revenue streams, key resources, key partners, and key activities. And then the cost structure. So that's what the business plan, it kind of has you a prompt for questions and how to write all that out. And after writing all those out, essentially you made a bunch of guesses towards, okay, cool, I think this is the direction I want to head. And so once you've made all those guesses, now you can go into the world and try them. And all you do is go and you know, be okay with failing and writing a new one. Like I said, I've written a couple now just this week. Or being okay with going out, trying it, and being able to see, okay, cool, this is working, let's highlight it, and we'll keep it there and make sure it becomes a staple, and then let's retry the other things that aren't working. So a lot of good tools and resources there. Again, the business model generation book. The other one that I read, and I've actually read this probably like a year ago when we were looking at really getting clear on the company that I was with before. It was called The Lean Startup. So it's a book. I just have it on Audible, so I don't have it in front of me. But essentially, it's a methodology behind how companies can be very lean when they are created, and it's especially for entrepreneurs that are starting their company, or if you're looking to kind of like revamp your company and make it a little bit more lean and mean, rather than having so much overhead cost and being, I guess, not super sure on the next steps towards getting your business completed. And it talks a lot about like the concept of building, measuring, and learning, and then learning, measuring, and building as you create different products and as you test out new resources and different tools. So it also talks a lot about how like other companies have leveraged this, like how Toyota used a lean startup manufacturing process when they were getting into the market space for building cars, and how that was super successful because they just had a team focus on building a car rather than having just, you know, they just were able to do the car industry different, and it worked out really, really well, and it created less problems in the long run. So, so those are some of the tools that I've been using right now, and really just getting clear on like, what's my product and service, what's my customer segment, what's the job that I want to do for them, or who is this like customer that I'm trying to, like, what are they trying to do and why am I the person for them? And then essentially, what am I going to help them avoid and gain? And then what am I going to help them find and gain? And so going through those, it's just getting me a lot more, it's giving me a lot more clear. Oh, another tool is also Udacity and Udemy. So there are websites where they have classes that you can purchase. So you can almost type in, especially with like Udemy, I mean, you could type in almost, you can find something on everything in there. And you can buy these classes from anywhere from like 20 to $200 or something. And so you could get really specific, and they're all peer-to-peer kind of stuff. And so you're learning from people that are really doing it. You're not like paying for a college education or something like that, so that it's not like, it's just more practical than ambiguous. So I really, really liked that. And so those are the main tools that I've been using over the last few days to really craft this business and get really clear on it. So if you are looking for those tools and resources, feel free to reach out, or obviously you can just kind of research the stuff that I said on this video. But if you have questions specifically on how to cater it to your business or what you're looking to do, feel free to reach out. I'd love to share what I've learned and point you in the right direction. And especially, you know, this isn't just for people that are starting a business. I'd say this is actually even more so for companies that are trying to get a scalable and repeatable business. So if they have a hard time finding the right practices or dialing in their systems, and they feel like they're throwing stuff at a wall and hoping for it to stick, this is probably even better for, you know, you guys should have done this earlier in your company, and I'm happy to share and let you know if you want to bounce ideas off of what I think and how would I, if I was in your shoes, and what I would do, because we've been there and we've done it for multiple companies. So today, yeah, the goal and what I'm really grateful for is everyone that's been reaching out and connecting. Never underestimate the power of your network. I'd also do that of suggesting to find some way to share and create with your network. I've just seen a huge value in it over the last just couple days doing this. It's something that I took for granted before when I was, in my previous companies or whatever, and I'm just really grateful for it now and being able to share vulnerably and honestly with everybody. It's been really, really nice. So if you're wanting to connect, feel free to reach out. Love to hear what you guys are doing, and I'd love to share what I'm doing and try to get more clear on it. The more I talk about it, the more I get more clear, and the more I get more excited, and the better I can see how it serves others. So feel free to connect with me, drop me a comment or send me a direct message. Love to connect, love to help and serve, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.